So this is a camper frame, and we got it stripped down pretty good. I bought this for $800. We're gonna build a solar trailer, and we're gonna use 12 panels. There's 72 cells each, and they're 315 watt panels. So I've been designing this for a while now, and this is what I've come up with. I want a lower array and an upper array so that when they're slanted like this, they don't shade each other. So it's going to be at an angle like this. Actually, it's going to be even steeper in the wintertime like that. So we want one that's lower. So I've already come up with this for the lower one. And I'll show you how they connect together later. But for right now, this is the start of it. Basically, I got 2 1/2-inch bolts going through the frame. And this is actually for a tractor 3-point hitch. And they're weldable, so you just weld them on the top here. And at first I was going to use a pillow block bearing, but I want it to be able to move around because this trailer flexes a lot. So if you were to use a solid bearing, anytime the trailer flexes, you're taking a chance on something breaking. So there's going to be 4 posts on each side, and this side they're only 2 feet long, so it keeps the panels down low, and the bottom of them is about 1 foot from the ground. And then the top of them is way up here. But then this one over here, I'm going to make about 7 feet tall, but it's going to be telescoping, so you can bring it up or down if you want. And this one's going to be sticking way up there like that. The whole purpose of doing it with bolts like this is I'm going to do matching bolts on both sides, so that if you want this trailer to slant like that, you can, or you can unbolt everything and slant it like that, depending on how you can pull the trailer into wherever you might need it. So the whole purpose of this trailer is to basically bring portable power. It's like a giant generator. So eventually on the front here, I saved about 5 foot of room here to put batteries and inverters and stuff. But in this video, we're just going to get the solar panels installed, and the whole thing is able to adjust to the season. So it's season adjustable. And I'm going to have a crank on each side to crank it whatever tilt that I want, whatever angle that I want. And the way that I'm going to accomplish that is with these plates here. So I'll have a crank on this, and you can just sort of put a pin in wherever you want it to be. And I had these made up ahead of time, and I use this company called Sen Cut Sen, and I was really impressed with how they did things. These are the caps for the ends. And for me to make this kind of stuff, yeah, I can do it, but it would take forever and it wouldn't be near this clean. I could use a plasma cutter, but then you got slag, and they use a laser cutter on this, and these are like a couple dollars a piece. It's not even worth messing with when you can just order them ahead of time. So I'll get into what I got going on with the actual rotisserie part of it, but for right now, what I want to do is get the 3.5, I'm using 3.5 by 3.5 stock here. But for right now, what I want to do is get my first post here, and that's going to be a 4-inch by 4-inch square tubing, and then that'll come up 4.5 feet, and then from there it'll drop down to 3.5 by 3.5 square tubing, which will go inside of it, and they'll bolt together. That way you can lower if you want. And I don't think that I'm going to be able to drive down the road with the solar panels, but maybe. I'm designing it in a way where we can just unbolt the solar panels really quick, stick them in the middle of the trailer, go to where we need to go, and then set them back up again, because I don't think it's worth the risk driving down the road with the solar panels up in the air. But we need to get these 4 posts made on this side, and I'll show you how I do that, and then we'll work our way from there. Flip it over and then cut, and it's not going to do anything until the second cut.
Yeah.
So I tried using the mag drill because I got a lot of holes to drill. And I also got to drill them on the back sides of them too. So I used the mag drill, but this is only 11 gauge, about 1/8 inch. So it's not quite strong enough for the mag drill to really stick firmly to. So I had to use like a clamp, and I was trying to put steel inside of here, but it's a pain. So since this is so thin, I'm just going to use a regular drill, and we'll start out with a 3/8 bit, and then we'll step it up with the step bit. And we did the same thing for the holes in the frame here, because again, this is very thin and the mag drill just wasn't sticking to it. So we ended up just drilling it with 3/8 and then stepping it up, and that seems to be a lot faster and more efficient, less fiddling around too. That's some thick pipe.
That is.
This is called DOM. It's drawn over mandrel. It's much more accurate than a regular pipe. I think that's all we really need to do is just tack it like that.
And then flip it. And zip it.
Whoa! Bar is pretty light.
Yeah, when it's not 20-something feet long. Not too bad.
It's like a press fit almost. Look at that. I'm really happy with that. And I mean, this is super solid, and I only got tack welds on it.
Yeah.
And it's only going to hold 120 pounds of panels. On each one of these is 2 panels,
Right.
so 60 pounds a piece.
I mean, and it's never going to spin around like this. It's only going to, you know, adjust up and down.
And
it's only going to have like...
It's every 2 months you need to move it about like that.
Yeah. Okay, we got them all. Now, these don't fit in there, got to make them fit. Beautiful.
So right now we're gonna weld up the next section here, like this one. So we have to put it in place, put the pins in and weld it exactly how we want it. But I want this entire array to be on one plane. So the only way that I think that would be efficient to do that would be to take a level and put it on this and make sure that this is perfectly level, and then take the next one, put it on and set that also perfectly level, and then weld it up. And then we'll do the same thing for the next section here. That way all three sections are exactly the same, so that when you tilt the whole array, the panels are perfectly aligned with each other.
Well, I'll be.
Going down the road, we put 5/16 pins in. When it's set up, we put 3/8 pins in. Whatever. There's a solution to everything. I mean,
Yep.
The only other thing that we could do is put a CV joint on each one of these.
Good.
So this is looking really good here. Everything's working out perfect. So the next thing I'm going to work on is getting the other side all wrapped up. That's going to be the taller side. So this is the configuration that I got going so far. Basically, we got the 4-inch square tube, 3.5-inch square tube. I was gonna go with a thicker wall for this bottom piece here, but there's quite a bit of slop in there. So what I was thinking is welding on a plate like that right there, and then this will slide like that, and so it'll be about 7 feet long when it's done. And what I'm going to do is weld some nuts right here and here, and then I'll put a screw through there as like a set screw. So putting that plate on there does two things. It takes up some of the slop, but it also reinforces this so that when you're putting a lot of pressure from this screw going into it, it doesn't deform this square stock, because I know it will if I don't put this plate on here. So put the nut right there, weld the nut on there, put the screw in there. If I have two of these on each one, that should in theory make it so it tightens everything up. And I can always add some more plates around the sides if I really need to, just to take up some of the slack. So then this whole thing will get bolted on just like over there with these bolts going through the frame. But because this is taller, I want to put some, what do you call it, like struts or gussets or something going down. So once these are on, I got some angle iron that I'm going to weld on a piece over here, and then weld on a piece on these down here, and then in between those pieces we'll have a bolt on piece of angle iron, because I don't want to weld a piece of angle iron from there to there. I want to bolt it on, so we'll have two ends that a piece in the middle goes and connects to. I don't think it's really necessary to do anything more than just some big tack welds.
Maybe one in the middle.
Yeah. Perfect. Perfect. Oops. Perfect. Perfect. Good.
Looks like it.
Well, I think it's safe to say that we're probably going to have to bring that.
I figured that we probably should have made those plates a little longer. That way you could adjust it up and down.
Well, the
more.
only adjusting that we need to do is all the way up or all the way down. Down in the travel position, all the way up in the solar panel position. Yeah, so I have a center mark that I marked on there on the panel. You're just gonna kind of center that on the 2-inch stock.
There's no marks on it.
See, now that should, I don't know if it's balanced. It doesn't need to be perfectly balanced.
What we could do is just take the outside one out, inside one.
Stick something in here and good.
Well, you're gonna need something that's like the exact size.
Yeah. Okay, so I got the structure the way I want it. I think we're good with everything on the structure. Might just have to tweak out a couple things, but everything is welded as far as I know right now. And then all I need to do is put some more struts on the bottom there, mount the panels. But before I do that, before I do anything more, I want to paint this whole frame. I want to paint everything except for the struts because those are galvanized. So I put in these cross braces here right where our columns are. That way it gives it more strength going like this. Otherwise, if the column is between the cross members, then there's some flex in the frame, which I was gonna put like a strut or a gusset going down at like a 45 to support that, but it's just not needed. So we're gonna try it without that. And I put these on because these are needed. Because unless you really get tight on them bolts, those columns can rack a little bit like that. So I just wanted to put one on the back, one on the front. Everything is bolted. That's welded, but that's bolted and that's bolted. That way you can unbolt everything. And also it's not putting too much stress on the welds. So I got the turntables installed on the front here and obviously on the back too. I'm not exactly sure what I'm going to do for a handle, but I'm thinking just this is probably fine because I just have a bunch of these pieces left over from cutting them, so I'm not going to use them for anything else, so I might as well just, and this is just tack welded and it works perfectly fine. Like I have a bolt in there right now so I can't turn it, and I have a bolt on the other side too, but this is enough leverage. It's like 3 feet long. That's enough leverage to crank the whole thing. Of course, I don't know that for sure until I get all the panels on there, but it went really easy. It's like 5 pounds and you can tilt up the 2 panels. So times that by 3 and it really shouldn't be that much. And remember, these columns are all the way down right now. They can extend up at least 3 feet, maybe even 4 feet, 3 to 4 feet. But there's no point in me bringing them way up there right now because for me to work on things, it's a lot easier down here. Plus, at this time of the year, the sun is not at a spot where I need to utilize going all the way up with that, because the only time you need to go up with that is in the wintertime when you're going to be shading those panels from these panels. So when they're at a real extreme angle like this, there will be some shading because the sun's going to go like that. And so these panels will stick up here and they'll shade these panels. So that's the point in being able to raise that up. But right now, we're going to be able to tilt this about like that. So then it won't shade those panels. So we'll keep them down like that. So Rust-Oleum makes a new spray can that's got different spray tips on it, and this works really well. All right, so I got this all painted up. Not exactly proud of the paint job. Definitely could have took more time and prepared it more, and also I painted it and then it froze right after, so I don't know. Didn't turn out that great, but I'm not too worried about it. It's protecting the steel and that's all I care about. I'm not looking to make a showpiece over here. So we are ready to mount all these panels.
Really need an electric ratchet.
So for the end clamps, we're using these, and you can adjust them. You pull these out of the slot and you can go up or down with them. We have them in the middle slot right now. And they give you hardware to go with this, like the bolts and the things to go in the middle, but that's for a different kind of strut. So I'm just using these regular strut bolts here, and then using hex head socket bolt. And then for the mid clamps, I'm using these, and I was trying to get matching hardware, but I think I ordered these first and then I couldn't find these in black. So the mid clamps don't match the color, but I'm not really worried about it. We can always replace those later. There's only one mid clamp for each panel, so there's 2 on each set here, and then there's 4 on the side, so to replace those is no big deal later down the road.
What do you think?
I think something is missing.
What do you think is missing?
Snow.
Snow, yeah. There's some right here. That's all we got. That's probably good.
Here. One right here. The final connection. All right, I'm gonna roll. Alright, turn the PV breaker on. Alright, so right now I'm producing 2800 watts, 405 volts, but the sun is at the wrong angle right now because it's the end of the day. It's like 3 o'clock and I don't have it faced the right way, so 2800 watts is actually pretty good. I should be getting somewhere around 3700, 3800 watts. But that's with the sun directly on it, perpendicular to the panels. Right now the sun is on a side, plus I'm not sure if my angle to the sun is exactly right. So if I had a tracker right now and it was facing the sun, I'm sure I'd get the whole 3800 watts. But we'll just let it run for a little while and we'll see how things go. And right now my geothermal system is on, so I'm not going to be charging the battery. What I did was last night I set it so that it would use battery for everything in my house for a while until it got down to 26%. That way today, if I had a lot of sun, it would start charging the battery, which it will do in a minute when my geothermal system turns off, because right now that's using 3000 watts on my geothermal. So once that turns off, it'll start charging the battery. So right now it's still using some grid power. What do you think?
Does that zap you?
No, it doesn't zap you.
Wait.
Alright, so the angle that these are at right now is perfect because look, there's the shading. So I'm still a good foot from the bottom of these panels right now. So that's like really ideal. So the sun is way over there. So not only is the sun shifted way over there, but these panels could be angled up just a little bit more. Did you dress yourself? Yeah? Hey. you got the pants on backwards, dude. Look, there's your back pockets right there, look. Look, those are supposed to be your back pockets. I can tell you dressed yourself. You silly boy.
Yeah, I'm a silly boy.
You're a wild, silly boy. You got your shirt on backwards too. Look, here's your shirt. Let's check your shoes. Oh, your shoes are on right. Okay. But yeah. Silly boy. So the geothermal system just shut off. You can see I'm putting in 2400 watts from the PV. And I'm only using 1100 watts in the house, so the rest is going towards the battery. And I can continue doing this for a while. Once it becomes summertime, I'm going to see a lot more PV than I need. And then I won't be able to use it all at night. Right now I can use it at night because my geothermal system is running at night and heating the house and the hot water. So what I can do for right now, before I get my interconnect agreement to sell back to the grid, is At nighttime, I just use the battery. And in the daytime, it'll be offsetting the loads in the house, and then whatever's left over go back into the battery. Hopefully by the end of the day, the battery's charged. Use it again at night and keep doing that over and over again. And then when we get our interconnect agreement, then first of all, I'm going to put up a lot bigger array, and I'm going to have some trackers too. So this will be filled right up with lots and lots of solar, and at that point we'll be selling back to the grid. We have net metering here, so basically I can just sell back to the grid and it keeps track of that for 12 months. So whatever excess I produce from the summer will carry over to the winter, and that way I'll have net zero. I'll never have to have a power bill, and also I'll have battery backup. So there was a lot of work that went into this trailer, but it's something I've wanted to do for a while. It cost a little bit of money, but I think having this for jobs and when the power goes out, and for right now, just for temporary use for my house, I think it'll pay for itself pretty quickly. If you do the math in this area, you can figure about 5 good hours of sunlight per day for the whole year. That's averaging in days that don't see any sun, that's averaging in snow days, that's averaging in big long days in the summer when it gets a lot of sun. If you average it all together, we have about 5 good hours per day. So 365 days times 5 hours times 3,800 watts. And then if you times that by 24 cents a kilowatt hour, which is what we're paying right now, so that's 7 megawatts a year. And if you times that by 24 cents a kilowatt hour, that's $1,600 per year if I'm running it every day, all day, for the whole year. So I bought the trailer for $800. The panels were $40 a piece. So let's say you got $500 in panels, $100 in hardware for the panels. That's $600 plus the $800 for the trailer. And then I have probably another $1,000 into steel. There might be a little over $1,000 in steel. I ordered a lot of extra steel I'll use for something else, so it's hard to tell exactly what I used, but let's just say that this will pay for itself in 2 years, definitely. That's pretty good. Anytime you invest anything to do with solar, a 2-year payback is extremely good for anything that you do. Inverters, batteries, panels, hardware, arrays, trackers, anything that you invest. If you can get less than like a 5-year payback, you're doing really, really good. Especially these panels, because they're only 2 years old, so I got plenty of life left in them. So once I get my approvals for my interconnect, and also I'm working on the permits to put my array right here, then we'll clear out all this dirt and rocks, mostly rocks. Get all this out of here, trim a couple trees, and we'll put a nice big array. I think I'm gonna do 24 panels here, so it'll be double what I have right there. And those panels are also bifacial, and they are 395 watts instead of 315 like these are. So 395 times 24, and you get up to 470 watts with the bifacial gain, which I'm going to take full advantage of because I'm going to lay a bed of white stone around here so that the sun reflects on the backside. And so you could figure probably 440, 450 watts a piece at full sun on those. And then I also have some trackers in the works, and I'm thinking trackers are going to go over there. And then I also have a giant array that I'm going to put on my new garage roof, which isn't built yet, but that's going to go way back there, and that's also going to feed back to this house. So with everything all together, I'm hoping eventually to max out at about 25 kilowatts, which I can use every bit of because I have a lot of power usage on this property between all the different buildings. So I'll probably save around $10,000 a year on power, and so it pays for systems pretty quickly when you can take that much money off of the bill each year. So this is just part one on this trailer. The next part is going to be installing some batteries and an inverter, or 2 or 3. I'm not sure exactly which one I'm going to get yet, but I have an idea. So we'll get those installed and tweak out some other things on this trailer. And like I said, I don't think I'm going to travel like this. Obviously not like this, but even I had plans to like fold them up like this, but I just don't think it's really gonna work. This one would probably work like that, but this one's gonna hit the bottom if I fold it like that. So I'm thinking that we might have to remove the panels to move it to another place, but maybe I can come up with a different idea. I'm not really sure yet. I guess it would be kind of cool if we didn't have to move this one, if we just folded that up flat, and then this one we could take those panels off and put them in the middle here. That would save some work, because just laying out those panels right there, probably only a half an hour worth of work. So to disassemble them half an hour, to assemble them again it's another half an hour. That's not really too bad. I wanted to mention that this whole setup I have here works really well. It's able to pivot back and forth, and that's especially useful on this side where these telescope, and if you don't have them exactly in line with the next one, that's okay, because it can flex there. There's not like a crazy amount of play there, but it's enough where you can have one side like 6 inches higher than the other and it's still fine. Nothing's gonna break in there. So I think the weakest point on this whole entire setup would be these pins here, which is good because if you break a pin, you can always just put a new one in, whereas if you broke something like this pipe or this bearing or something, then you'd have to do a lot of work. But I think that pin, that's a 3/8 pin. I don't think that that's going anywhere. I guess we'll see, but as far as I can see, this is really sturdy and I don't see any problem with this. And the ballast weight is maybe not quite enough. I think this whole trailer is probably around 3,000 pounds. I could be wrong though. It could be more like 3,500 pounds or so, but I don't think it's quite 4,000 pounds with everything I have on here. It's hard to tell really. I could get it weighed someday, but when the inverter and batteries are on here, it'll definitely weigh a lot more. And I guess if you really wanted to, you could put some spiral anchors in or something, or in general, if you thought you'd have like a semi-permanent location set up, you could put a couple of like squares of concrete in and attach to those. Alright, so here we are the next day, and we have full cloud coverage. There's no sun sticking out of the clouds at all, and I still got 1,000 watts. That's pretty good. So right now, my house is using 1,008 watts, and I'm producing 1,004 watts. And I knew it would be cloudy today, so I wanted to wait to put out this video to show you what it would do in the clouds. So I kept my battery low, just in case the sun did poke out for a while. That way we're not wasting energy, because without the battery there to be able to charge, and without being able to send back to the grid, if I was producing a lot more than I'm using, the energy would just be wasted. So I wanted to make sure my battery is able to be charged. So to be honest with you, 1,000 watts out of 3,800 available watts on a pure cloudy day, that's pretty good. So you can see there's no sun at all. Just that little bit poking out right there. It's barely anything though. So my utility company here doesn't want you to export more than 25 kilowatts. So what that means is that's about 100 amps AC at 240 volts, which I would have to get 2 of these inverters to reach that. But they said they don't care how many panels I put up, so I can over panel like crazy if I want. If I want 50 kilowatts of panels, I can do that as long as I'm only outputting 25 kilowatts. So what that means is, let's just say if we have 25 kilowatts, and right now I'm getting about a quarter of what I should. So divide that by 4. So if I have a 25 kilowatt system, right now I'd still be putting out 6,200 watts, which is pretty decent for a cloudy day. So I'm definitely going to get at least 25 kilowatts going on this property between a few different arrays, between trackers, roof mounted, and ground mount arrays. I may even go above maybe 30 or 40 kilowatts. That way I can produce on a cloudy day like this. Plus in the wintertime, your daylight is limited by a lot. And if you have some cloudy days in the wintertime, then you're really limited. So it's good to over panel by a lot. So right now, even on a cloudy day, I'm charging the batteries. That's pretty cool. 1,100 watts. So look at this, 1,800 watts, and it's still cloudy out. that sun has not poked through those clouds. It might just be a little bit, but on the forecast, it's mostly cloudy for today. Not even just partly cloudy. So 1800 watts, that's almost half of what I should be getting. That's pretty good. So anyways, I just wanted to show you guys this example because I knew today would be cloudy, so I wanted to show you what it would do on a cloudy day. But like I said, I'm going to get going on the permits and everything for doing the other arrays. So we got a lot of solar work ahead of us, and I'm going to do more to that solar trailer. So that's it for this video, guys, and I will catch you guys on the next one.